There's a truth that echoes louder than most, yet it's often ignored. Nobody is coming to save you. No hand will reach out of nowhere to pull you to safety. No perfect moment will arrive on its own. Your life, will only change the day you stop waiting for someone, for something, for a sign, and start directing every ounce of your energy back to where it belongs, on you. Every dream you've whispered into the night, every goal you've etched onto a scrap of paper, every vision of a better future that's danced behind your eyes, none of it will come to life unless you decide it must. And that decision, it doesn't happen by chance. It's not born from comfort or convenience. It happens when you lock your focus on yourself, without distractions, without excuses, without waiting for approval. You build yourself. You forge your strength. You become so solid, so unwavering, that no rejection can shake your core. No failure can pull the floor from beneath your feet. You are not here to crumble. You are here to rise. The world doesn't reward the ones who wait. It rewards the ones who master themselves, those who dig deep and do the work, even when no one sees, even when no one claps. Focus. Focus on you until you win. Because if you don't, no one else will. This could be the moment. This could be the turning point. The second you stop looking outside and start rebuilding from within. The most important shift you'll ever make doesn't happen with noise or applause. It begins in silence. It begins with a choice, and it continues with discipline. Every day, wake up with a mission. Build your strongest self. Not just physically, not just mentally. In every dimension that matters. Build who you are when no one's looking. Build who you are in the quiet, in the struggle, in the repetition. Because life doesn't slow down. Time doesn't pause while you gather your willpower. Every day wasted is a step further from the life you could have had. This is your wake-up call. Build or drift. Progress or postpone. Grow or decay. Most people never win. Not because they're incapable, but because they never stay focused on themselves long enough. They watch others. They compare. They distract. But you're different. You know that commitment isn't a one-time choice. It's a daily contract. It's saying yes to yourself again and again, even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged, even when everything tells you to stop. You must decide that this life, your life, is worth the effort. Decide that you're worth the discipline. Because your strongest self isn't coming to rescue you. It's waiting for you to show up. It starts small. 1 hour spent reading instead of scrolling. 1 workout instead of 1 excuse. 1 better choice. 1 real goal written down. 1 silent moment where you stop pretending and start planning. Brick by brick, you build your future. Not on comfort, not on perfect days, but on the discipline of doing what needs to be done, even when it hurts. Even when no one cheers you on. Even when there's no visible reward. The real transformation happens in the shadows. In the invisible spaces. When the only person keeping you accountable is you. That's where your power is forged. Your intentions won't save you. Your actions will. Every single day you get to choose excuses or evolution, blame or growth, comfort or conviction. You have to be the one who shows up for yourself. You must become that person, that rock, that force, not because it's glamorous, but because it's necessary. Motivation isn't coming to save you. Consistency will. Motivation is fleeting, but consistency, that's where the change lives. It's not exciting every day. It's not flashy, but it works. And it will work for you. Every day that you choose yourself, that you choose growth, that you choose to step forward, you're winning. You're inching closer to everything you said you wanted. And no, it won't happen overnight. The results may hide. The wins may come quietly. But if you stay focused when others quit, if you keep walking when others stall, the world will take notice. You have to get honest. Are you building your future or sabotaging it? Are you using your time or wasting it? Are you fueling your growth or draining your potential? It's uncomfortable, but that discomfort, it's your compass. If you're not getting stronger, you're getting weaker. If you're not moving, you're falling behind. Growth is not optional. It's essential. Your attention is sacred. Your time is currency. Don't waste it on noise. Don't sell it to distraction. Don't give it away to people who don't value your vision. Guard your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. You're living in a world built to pull your attention in 100 directions. Notifications, opinions, meaningless updates, gossip, comparison, negativity. It's all a trap. It's all designed to keep you average, to steal your clarity, to keep you playing small. But you're not here to play small. You're here to do something real, to become something real. You're here to build the life you've imagined. And that starts when you start guarding your focus like it's gold. Because it is. The day you start protecting your focus, you start changing your life. The moment you stop seeking validation, you start reclaiming your power. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need applause to begin. You don't need anyone to say it's okay. You just need to decide that you're going all in on you. Build a mind so strong that outside voices can't touch it. Let them doubt. Let them question. Let them misunderstand you. That's not your concern. Your concern is your mission, your journey, your progress. Get clear. Laser clear. What are you building? What do you stand for? What does your future look like when you stop hesitating? If it doesn't move you forward, it's noise. If it doesn't build you, it's noise. If it drains you, distracts you, dilutes you, it's noise. And you're done letting noise run your life. You're not here to live a half-lived story. You're not here to fit in. You're not here to wait for approval. You are here to become unshakable. You are here to build the kind of life that speaks for itself. No more waiting. No more watching. No more wondering. It's your time. This isn't about arrogance. This is about clarity. This is about refusing to give your energy to anything that doesn't push you higher. This is about stepping into the strength you've been burying beneath fear, beneath doubt, beneath the need to be liked. You're done with that. Because greatness isn't found in applause. It's found in consistency, in self-respect, in quiet discipline. So wake up and choose you. Choose the work. Choose the sacrifice. Choose the long road over the shortcut. Choose the silence over the spotlight. Because the real spotlight comes after the work. The applause comes after the victory. But the victory comes after the grind. This is your grind season. This is your build season. And it's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be worth it. Every challenge is here to reveal you. Every setback is here to shape you. Every moment is preparing you. And when it gets hard, and it will, remember this. The ones who win are not the most talented. They're the most focused. They're the most consistent. They're the ones who didn't let the noise in. They're the ones who kept showing up. Not because they felt like it, but because they decided to. And now, it's your turn. Your turn to build. Your turn to block out the noise. Your turn to become. Because if you don't, no one else will. And you were never meant to be ordinary. The moment you choose to take full responsibility for your life is the moment everything changes. Not a little, not over time. Everything shifts. Because ownership is where your power begins. Until you own your time, your decisions, your direction, your distractions, you're just a passenger in your own story. You cannot move forward while pointing fingers backward. You cannot claim your strength while handing others the blame. That may be hard to accept, but it's also your liberation. Blame feels comfortable. It gives you something or someone else to point to. It lets you say, it's not my fault. And maybe it isn't. But here's the truth. It is still your responsibility to change it. Responsibility is not about fault. It's about control. It's about taking the pen back into your own hands and rewriting the narrative that has been playing on repeat in your mind. You can't always choose what happens, but you can always choose your response. And in that response lies everything. You build strength every time you say, this is on me. Not because you caused it, but because you're powerful enough to handle it. And when you show up for yourself with that kind of honesty, that kind of fire, that kind of maturity, nothing can stop you. Every time you say, this is my life, and I'm owning it, you grow. Every time you stop waiting for someone else to fix things and start working with what you have, you gain ground. There are two types of people in this world. The ones who let life happen to them, and the ones who happen to life. You were never meant to drift. You were built to lead. You were born to create, to rebuild, to rise. But first, you must stop giving away your power to your past, to your excuses, to your comfort zone, to the story you've told yourself about who you are. You are not the mistakes you've made. You are not the failures you've experienced. You're not the opinions that others have about you. You're what you do next. You're what you choose now. And the most powerful thing you can choose is to build, to rise, to own your energy, your focus, your mind, and your future. Own it all, even the hard parts, even the days you were lost, even the times you fell short. Because when you own it all, you gain the power to change it all. That's what separates those who stay stuck from those who take flight. Not talent, not luck, not timing, ownership. The question is not, why hasn't life given me more? The question is, what can I do with what I already have? Because someone out there is doing more with less. Someone out there is choosing discipline when you're choosing delay. Someone out there is showing up while you're still deciding. And that's the only difference between winning and wondering. The ones who win, they don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait for approval. They don't wait for the world to believe in them. They decide, they move, they act, and if they fall, they rise again and again. Because winning isn't about avoiding failure. It's about building the muscle to stand back up. You're not weak for falling. You're human. But you're powerful the moment you choose to rise. And let's be clear, this isn't about overnight results. This is about becoming the kind of person who shows up day after day, even when there's no applause, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's exhausting. This is about the version of you who gets up early when the bed is warm. The version of you who chooses the workout over the excuse. The version of you who puts down the phone and picks up the book. The version of you who shows up for the goal no one else sees yet. That version of you? That's the one building a foundation that nothing and no one can destroy. Real winners are not loud. They are consistent. They don't talk about what they're going to do. They're too busy doing it. They don't complain about how far they have to go. They take one more step, and one more, and one more, until suddenly the life they imagined is the life they live. Not because it was handed to them, but because they built it brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice, day by day. So now ask yourself, are you truly committed? Or are you just interested? Are you willing to do what's required? Or are you hoping for a shortcut? Are you showing up only when it's easy? Or are you there when it's hard, when it's quiet, when it's lonely? That's the test. Because everyone wants the results. Not everyone wants the discipline. Everyone wants the reward. Not everyone wants the repetition. But success isn't magical. It's mathematical. It's built on repeated effort. On saying yes to yourself, even when it's easier to say no. On building habits that align with your vision, not your emotions. Because emotions lie. They'll tell you, you can skip today. They'll whisper, it's okay to quit. But vision? Vision doesn't lie. It shows you what's possible. It keeps pulling you forward when your feelings want to pull you back. That's why you must choose vision over mood. That's why you must keep your promises to yourself, especially when no one else knows. Because how you treat your commitments when no one is watching, that's your real character. It's easy to work hard when it's new. It's easy to work hard when the results are visible. But it's powerful to work hard when it's invisible. It's powerful to work when the rewards are far away. It's powerful to trust your process when the world hasn't clapped yet. Because you're not working for applause. You are working for your evolution. You are working for your growth. You are working for your future. And that work will not betray you. But you must keep showing up, daily, relentlessly, unapologetically. There's no other way. And you know this. Deep down, you know. You've had moments when you felt it. That fire inside. That clarity. That certainty that you were made for more. That you were built for something bigger. But then life got loud. Life got busy. Doubt crept in. Distractions multiplied. And that fire? It dimmed. But it's still there. Still burning. Still waiting for you to pick it back up. To stoke it. To protect it. To feed it with action. Your future is still calling. Will you answer? Or will you silence it again? You have to make a choice. A real choice. Not a wish. Not a maybe one day. A line in the sand decision that says, I'm done playing small. I'm done hiding my gifts. I'm done waiting. Because the longer you wait, the further you drift from who you were meant to be. And you were meant to be more than a spectator. You were meant to be more than a dreamer. You were meant to be a force. But no one will hand that to you. You must claim it. And the only way to claim it is to earn it. Through focus, through effort, through consistency, day by day, hour by hour, choice by choice. So make the next one count, because that's all it takes. One choice, one moment of courage, one moment of clarity, one step forward again, and then repeat. That is how the strongest version of you is built. And that version? The one who shows up no matter what. They're closer than you think. They're waiting on the other side of your excuses. They're waiting on the other side of your comfort. They're waiting on the other side of your delay. Start now. Become that version. And never look back. You don't have to have all the answers to begin. You don't need a perfect plan, a perfect past, or perfect timing. What you need is commitment. What you need is fire in your heart and discipline in your bones. You need a reason to start and a promise to keep going, especially when it's hard. Because it will be hard. No path worth walking is easy. No life worth living is built on comfort alone. You are not here to coast. You are here to conquer. But conquering begins with showing up. Not just once. Not just when inspired. Every single day, rain or shine, energetic or exhausted, encouraged or doubting. You show up because you said you would. Because you made a promise to your future self that you're done letting life pass by. This world does not reward the most gifted. It rewards the most consistent. The ones who keep getting up when others sit down. The ones who stay focused when others are distracted. The ones who choose purpose over pleasure. Long-term vision over short-term comfort. Every day you wake up, you are writing your story. Every action you take becomes part of your legacy. So what story are you writing today? Will it be one of excuses or one of execution? Will it be one of drifting or direction? The greatest transformation begins not when the world changes, but when you do. When you realize that the life you want is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. And choices compound. One decision after another. One sacrifice after another. One win stacked upon another, until the momentum becomes unstoppable. But you must build that momentum. You must make those decisions. You must plant those seeds. And yes, you will be tempted. Tempted to scroll instead of study. Tempted to rest when you should rise. Tempted to talk about it rather than be about it. But remember this. Every temptation is a test of your loyalty to your dream. Every temptation is asking you, how much do you want this? Let your actions answer. Let your habits answer. Let your discipline answer. There will be moments where you feel alone, where the grind feels endless, where no one claps, no one sees, and nothing seems to change. That's when most give up. That's when most say, maybe it's not meant to be. But not you. You keep going because you understand something they don't. You understand that silence is not a sign of failure. It's the space where real strength is forged. You understand that slow growth is still growth. You understand that the absence of results is not the absence of progress. You're becoming. You're building. Even when it feels like you're standing still. Because the strongest foundations are built beneath the surface. And when the world finally sees what you've created, it will look sudden, but you'll know it wasn't. You'll know it was built in the dark, day by day, with grit, with faith, with work. And the truth is, no one else needs to understand that. This journey, it's yours. It's personal. It's sacred. You do not need validation for the path you're on. You do not need applause to justify your steps. You need belief, and you need behavior that backs it up. You need to walk, to work, to climb, regardless of who's watching. Because your future is watching. And every decision today builds the life you'll wake up in tomorrow. So choose wisely. Choose intentionally. Choose powerfully. You don't rise by accident. You rise by alignment. When your actions reflect your intentions. When your time reflects your priorities. When your energy reflects your goals. And when they don't, you adjust. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Now, you adjust because drifting is dangerous. Because comfort is seductive. Because time won't wait. And neither should you. No one becomes unstoppable by waiting to feel ready. They become unstoppable by acting anyway. By moving anyway. By trusting that their direction matters more than their doubts. Because it does. And if you need proof, look around. Every dream you've ever had, someone out there is living it. Not because they were better, smarter, or luckier, but because they stayed in the game. When it was slow, when it was lonely, when it was tough. That's what separates them. That's what will separate you. You want the life most won't have? Then be willing to do what most won't do. Say no to distractions. Say no to mediocrity. Say no to every habit that pulls you further from your purpose. And say yes to the hard things. Say yes to showing up tired. Say yes to giving your best when you feel your worst. Say yes to the long road, because the long road leads to greatness. There is no shortcut. There is no elevator. There is no magic formula. There is only the step in front of you. And you take it, then the next one, and the next, until one day you look back and realize how far you've come. Not because you leaped, but because you refused to stop walking. Progress is not always fast, but it is always worth it. And yes, there will be days when you lose your way, days when you fall, days when the mirror reflects more doubt than drive. That's okay. That's human. What matters is what you do next. Do you dwell or do you rise? Do you retreat or do you recommit? Do you wait for the right mood or do you choose the right move? Your future is not built in perfect days. It is built in imperfect effort. It is built in quiet choices, in lonely nights, in unseen hours. It is built in the yes you whisper to yourself when the world expects you to say no. Keep saying yes. Keep showing up. Keep choosing your future over your feelings. Because feelings will pass. But what you build, that lasts. You're not meant to drift. You're not meant to live by default. You're here to live by design. And every day you delay is a day you could have been building. A day you could have been becoming. So stop looking for reasons to wait. Start creating reasons to move. This is not just about chasing goals. This is about reclaiming your identity, about becoming someone you're proud to be, about proving to yourself that the promises you make matter. Because if you can trust yourself, really trust yourself, then everything becomes possible. That's what discipline gives you. It gives you trust. It gives you freedom. It gives you peace. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for anyone to see it, believe it, or understand it. You see it. You believe it. You understand it. That's enough. That's always been enough. Now act like it. There will be moments in your journey when the weight feels too heavy, when your body is tired, your mind is scattered, and your heart questions why you began. It's in these moments that most people quit, not because they aren't capable, not because they lack talent, but because they forget that struggle is not a stop sign. It's a signal that you're growing, that you're in the fire, that you're becoming. You must remember, this path isn't meant to be easy. If it were, everyone would walk it. If it were, greatness would be common. But it's not, and it never will be. You're not here to be common. You're not here to fit in. You're here to rise. So when the voice inside you whispers, quit, you whisper louder, not today. You keep going. You push through. Because strength isn't built on the days that feel good. It's built on the days that test you. When everything in you wants to stop, but something stronger within refuses. That's your edge. That's your breakthrough point. Everyone reaches a wall. The difference between those who reach their potential and those who never do is simple. The ones who make it over the wall keep climbing, even when it hurts, even when they're alone, even when no one's watching. That's what separates champions from the crowd. Grit, not gifts. Discipline, not desire. You don't need to feel powerful to act powerfully. You just need to act. One step, one task, one win at a time. And when you feel weak, remember, weakness is not the enemy. It's the invitation. It's the chance to build deeper strength. You cannot build mental toughness in comfort. You cannot earn confidence through ease. You must train it, sharpen it, hammer it into place through repetition, discomfort, and effort. And it's not supposed to be glamorous. It's supposed to be gritty. That's where the transformation happens. You want to be confident? Keep your promises. You want to be respected? Respect your own work ethic. You want to feel worthy? Show yourself that you are by doing what most won't. No shortcuts. No handouts. Just relentless forward motion. And no, the progress won't always be visible. The results won't always show up when you want them to. But that doesn't mean they aren't happening. Growth is invisible before it's undeniable. Just like a seed beneath the soil, you are building in silence. And one day, When it all blooms, it will look sudden to everyone else. But you'll know the truth. You'll remember every early morning, every lonely night, every silent victory, and it will be worth it. But only if you keep going. You can't quit every time it gets heavy. You can't give up every time it gets quiet. You can't wait for ideal conditions. They'll never come. There will always be distractions. There will always be pressure. There will always be noise. Your job is to ignore it, to silence the world and listen to your vision, your path, your pace. You are not made to fit someone else's timeline. You are not created to follow someone else's formula. You were born to break your own limits, to beat your own doubts, to become something the old version of you would have never believed possible. And that begins with showing up every day, not for applause, not for trophies, not for likes, but for the person you're becoming. Because that person is counting on you. They're waiting on the other side of your laziness, your self-doubt, your distractions. They are real, and they are possible, but only if you stop treating your dream like a hobby and start treating it like your duty. This is not a game. This is your life. And if you want to build a life that matters, you must act like it matters. Enough with the excuses. You're tired? Good. That means you're working. You're discouraged? Good. That means you care. You feel like giving up? That means you're close. The breakthrough is always on the other side of the breakdown. But you'll never know that if you stop here. If you let the discomfort define you. If you let a bad day become a bad decision. You're not soft. You're not weak. You're just untested. But now is the test. This is the moment where you decide. Do you rise or do you retreat? Do you push or do you pause? Do you bet on yourself or do you fold? You know the answer. You didn't come this far to only come this far. You didn't fight through your past to be stopped by this present. You are more capable than you've been behaving. You are more powerful than you've been believing. Now is the time to act like it. Not when it's easy. Not when you feel ready. Now, this is where champions are built. In the trenches. In the repetitions. In the boring, invisible, lonely work that no one talks about. But that's the work that changes everything. You want different results? Take different actions. You want a stronger life? Build a stronger routine. You want success to become inevitable? Make your habits non-negotiable. You cannot rise if you keep falling into the same patterns. You cannot thrive if you keep tolerating the same distractions. You cannot evolve if you keep choosing the same comfort zones. There's a better version of you waiting to be unlocked. But it doesn't unlock through thoughts. It unlocks through action. And you already know what to do. You know what needs to be cut. You know what needs to be changed. You know what you've been avoiding. Now do it. Because nothing will change until you change it. And no one can do that for you. This is your responsibility. Your life. Your standard. Raise it. And when it gets tough, and it will, you don't lower your vision to match your mood. You raise your effort to match your goals. You rise to meet the challenge. You elevate your mindset. You recommit to your purpose. You don't shrink. You don't back down. You go all in. Every single day. Because you're not just chasing success. You're becoming it. And that version of you, the one who is consistent, focused, driven, powerful, doesn't need applause. They don't need validation. They don't need to be understood. They're too busy becoming undeniable. That's the version that wins. That's the version that leads. That's the version that writes a new story for your life. And you're ready. You've always been ready. You just needed to remember who you are. Now go prove it. It's time to understand a truth that separates the dreamers from the doers. Nobody is coming to push you. Nobody is waking you up early. Nobody is making sure you finish what you start. That responsibility is yours, and yours alone. The life you desire is not on someone else's calendar. It is on you to create, protect, and deliver. You don't need more inspiration. You need more action. You don't need more permission. You need more discipline. And you don't need more motivation. You need to move, especially when motivation is absent. Because here's what they don't tell you. Motivation is overrated. It's a temporary feeling, fleeting like the weather. Discipline, however, is the real game changer. It shows up when you don't feel like it. It stays when the feelings fade. And it delivers long after the excitement dies. Winners aren't consistent because they're always motivated. They're consistent because they're disciplined. And discipline is a decision, a choice you make moment by moment to be better than your excuses, to value your future more than your comfort, to stay loyal to your goals even when your feelings betray you. You'll never reach your highest potential until you learn to show up when it's hardest. Everyone can work hard when it's easy. Everyone can post progress when they're winning. But who are you when the lights go off? Who are you when the applause stops? Who are you when it's just you and a mirror? That's who you really are. That's who determines your destiny. So what does your mirror say today? Is it proud of your effort? Is it reflecting the version of you who's locked in, laser-focused, unwavering? Or is it reflecting someone who settles, someone who postpones, someone who starts fast and fades early? Be honest, because only honesty can lead to real change. You must be willing to confront the parts of you that have been coasting, the part that hits snooze, the part that breaks promises to yourself, the part that waits for ideal conditions. It's time to silence that part. It's time to step into the identity of the person you've always wanted to be. Not someday, not next month, today. Because the longer you wait to start showing up fully, the longer you delay the life that could be yours. And you have to ask yourself, is the delay worth it? Is the comfort worth it? Is the excuse worth trading for everything you've ever wanted? The answer is no. There is no reward in quitting. There is no breakthrough in excuses. There is no peace in postponing your potential. There is only regret. And you are not here to live in regret. You are here to rise, to grow, to build. And that doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the grind, in the daily decision to do it anyway, to keep going when others stop, to stay locked in when others drift. This is where your future is built, in the silence, in the sacrifice, in the choices no one applauds, but everyone eventually sees. And yes, people will start to notice. But not right away. At first, they'll question your pace. They'll wonder why you're working so hard. Then, they'll mock your effort. They'll say you're too intense. Then they'll go silent. And one day, they'll ask how you did it. That day is coming. But only if you stay the course. Because most people quit before they ever see results. They work hard for a few days, then stop. They get inspired for a week, then drift. They let life decide their direction instead of building their own path. But not you. You know better. You know that momentum isn't given. It's earned. It's created by discipline, protected by focus, and expanded by relentless action. You know that mastery isn't built in sprints. It's built in reps. Reps of hard work. Reps of showing up. Reps of choosing purpose over pleasure. This is how you win. Not with shortcuts. Not with hacks. Not with hopes. With action. Relentless, consistent, uncomfortable action. And here's something else you need to understand. Your future self is watching. They're waiting. Waiting to see if you'll honor the promise you made when you said you wanted more. Waiting to see if you'll keep moving forward when the path gets dark. Waiting to see if you'll rise when others fall. So ask yourself, are you making them proud? Are you giving them the life they deserve? Because every time you choose weakness, they lose. Every time you choose distraction, they suffer. But every time you push, every time you rise, every time you lock in, you give them hope. You give them proof that this version of you is worth fighting for. You give them a future. So don't do it for the crowd. Don't do it for the praise. Do it for the person you're becoming. Because that person is worth every ounce of your strength. That person is worth every rep, every sacrifice, every early morning, every lonely evening. They are worth it, and so are you. But it starts with how you live this moment. Not tomorrow. Now, this hour, this choice, this breath. Will you use it to complain? Or to create? To delay? Or to deliver? To scroll? Or to build? Because make no mistake, you're building something right now. Either you're building your dream, or you're building your regret. And every decision you make moves you closer to one or the other. There's no in between. So which will it be? The comfort of now, or the reward of later? The ease of excuses, or the power of execution? The lie of someday, or the truth of today? You already know. That's why you're still here. Still listening. Still fighting. Still becoming. Now show the world. Show them what happens when someone refuses to quit. Show them what it looks like to stay locked in on your purpose. Show them what unstoppable really means. because that word, unstoppable, is not reserved for superheroes. It's not for the gifted or the lucky. It's for those who refuse to stay down. It's for those who rise, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. It's for those who keep going, not because they always feel strong, but because they've learned that strength is a choice. So choose it. Choose to be unstoppable. Choose to stay with the process. Choose to live a life that commands respect, not attention. A life that's quiet in the struggle and loud in the legacy. Because that's the kind of life that lasts. That's the kind of life that changes things. And it's the kind of life you were born to build. There will be seasons when the silence is deafening, when your progress is invisible, when your work seems thankless, and your growth feels stalled. These are the most critical seasons of your life. Not the exciting ones, not the ones full of breakthroughs, but the silent, grinding ones. Because it's in these moments that your character is carved, your will is tested, and your belief is refined. If you only believe when it's easy to believe, then you don't truly believe. Real belief is forged in the fire of uncertainty. When you can't see results, when nothing outside of you validates your effort, but you keep going anyway, that's faith. That's power. That's discipline. Most people quit during these seasons. They convince themselves that nothing's working, that maybe they're not cut out for this. But those who trust the process, those who stay the course, build something the quitters will never know, unshakable belief in themselves. And you need that belief because there will be days when the only thing you have is your decision to keep going. No applause, no proof, just you, your vision, and your promise to see it through. Those are the most important days, because those are the days that build the foundation for everything you want. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's slow. It's quiet. It's exhausting. But it's real. It's how lives are transformed. And here's what you must remind yourself daily. Your time is coming. Your season is coming. But only if you don't quit now. Only if you keep moving forward. 1 inch. 1 breath. 1 action at a time. You do not have to sprint. But you must not stop. Because the moment you stop is the moment you start telling yourself the story that you're not enough. That your effort doesn't matter. That this dream wasn't yours to begin with. And that is a lie. It's a lie that steals futures. A lie that ends stories too soon. You were born to finish what you start. You were built to rise from the setbacks. You were made to lead, to build, to stand tall. So when it gets hard, and it will, remember that your struggle is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of progress. It is a sign that you're stretching, and stretching hurts. But also creates space. Space for new strength, new habits, new levels of excellence. The truth is, you already have everything you need. Not in the world around you, in the strength within you. You just have to stop running from it. You just have to stop waiting for someone to push you and become the one who moves with purpose, no matter what. That's how you create a life of peace. Not by avoiding pain, not by escaping hardship, but by becoming the kind of person who can walk through fire and keep building. A person who's unshakable not because they were never tested, but because they never let the tests break their faith. So keep showing up. Every action, no matter how small, is a vote for your future. Every early morning, every late night, every workout, every book, every silent decision to choose progress over comfort. It's all adding up, even if no one sees it yet, even if you can't fully feel it yet. It's happening. You're changing, and the world will see it soon enough. But before they see it, you have to. You have to see the version of yourself you're becoming. You have to believe that person exists. You have to visualize that future so clearly that you begin to act like it's already yours. Because your body will follow your mind. Your habits will follow your vision. Your life will follow your standards. And the moment you raise those standards, everything begins to shift. The way you speak, the way you move, the way you treat your time, your health, your goals. It all changes when you decide you're done living beneath your potential. You don't need someone else to tell you you're ready. You need to start acting like you're ready. That's when the universe responds. When your actions match your ambitions. When your energy matches your vision. When your choices reflect your highest standard. Not your mood. Not your doubt. Not your fear. That's the turning point. That's when things start to align. And yes, it will still be hard. But you'll be different. You'll be stronger, more focused, more grounded, because you've been through the fire. And you didn't quit. You built discipline in the dark. You built belief in the silence. You built peace through effort. And no one could take that from you. So now it's time. Time to stop negotiating with your weakness. Time to stop entertaining old habits that no longer serve you. Time to stop living like you have forever, because you don't. Time is your most limited resource. And every second spent doubting, delaying, or distracting is time you'll never get back. So treat today like it matters. Treat it like your future depends on it, because it does. The difference between a breakthrough and breakdown is often just one decision. The decision to keep going, to keep moving, to trust that the work you're doing matters, even when no one else sees it, even when no one else claps, even when your reflection hasn't changed yet, because the mirror always lags behind the mindset. Change your thoughts, and your body, your habits, your outcomes, they will follow. But only if you stay with it. Only if you hold the line. Only if you trust the process longer than you feel like trusting it. That's what separates the leaders from the followers, the finishers from the quitters, the legends from the crowd. And the truth is, it's not about talent. It's about grit. It's not about luck. It's about consistency. It's not about knowing everything. It's about showing up when most people won't. So show up, not just when it's convenient, not just when you're inspired. Show up when it's raining. Show up when you're tired. Show up when you're unsure. Because the act of showing up builds trust. It builds identity. It builds a self-image that says, I am someone who does what I said I would do. That's how you win. That's how you lead. That's how you become unstoppable. And the best part? You don't have to change your life overnight. You just have to keep building. One moment of discipline, one act of courage, one decision arise, then another, and another, until suddenly you realize you've become the kind of person you used to admire. The kind of person who doesn't quit. The kind of person who turns effort into excellence. Vision into victory. You're that person. Not tomorrow. Not one day. Now. Now is the time to become everything you've ever wanted to be. But you have to decide. No one else can decide for you. And once you do, there's no turning back. There's a moment, quiet and often unnoticed, when everything shifts. It's not a loud breakthrough or a public win. It's internal. It's the moment you decide, truly decide, that your vision matters more than your excuses, that your mission is greater than your comfort, that your future deserves more than your hesitation. In that moment, you stop looking for reasons to pause and start searching for ways to progress. You no longer ask, how can I escape the pain? You ask, how can I grow through it? That is the mindset of a warrior. Because a warrior doesn't need conditions to be perfect. A warrior creates clarity through chaos. A warrior doesn't wait for strength to arrive. They train it, build it, earn it. One battle, one decision, one choice at a time. That's what your life is right now. A series of battles between the person you are and the person you're becoming. And every moment is an opportunity to vote for your future self. The disciplined one, the bold one, the version that does not settle. But you don't become that person by accident. You become them by design. You sculpt them with your actions. You carve them out of sacrifice. You sharpen them through pain. And yes, it's hard. But hard is not the enemy. Hard is the proof that you are in the right arena. The pain of discipline will never be greater than the pain of regret. Because regret whispers in your ear when the crowd is gone, when the noise fades, when the years pass, and it says, you could have done more. That voice is haunting. But the voice of discipline, that one says you gave it everything, that voice gives you peace. That voice builds self-respect. Because here's the truth no one talks about enough. Self-respect is built through effort, through consistency, through refusing to back down when the old version of you is begging to return. Every time you say no to your weakness and yes to your standard, you reinforce your strength. And the world will test you. It will tempt you to settle. It will throw distractions at you disguised as opportunities. It will offer you ease when you've sworn to embrace effort. But you must remember who you are. You must remember what you're here for. You're not here to exist. You're here to expand. You're not here to coast. You're here to conquer. You're not here to blend in. You're here to build something that outlives you. That's the fire you must carry inside you every day, especially on the days when the world is cold, especially when the vision is cloudy, especially when nothing feels certain except your will to keep going. That's what separates you. That's what makes you dangerous to every limitation. And it's not something you find. It's something you choose. So choose it again and again. Because greatness is not a one-time decision. It is a lifestyle, a rhythm, a daily practice. You want a next-level life? You need next-level standards. You want more confidence? Keep more promises to yourself. You want peace? Earn it through effort. You want purpose? Live like it matters. Because it does. Every day you show up, you're either building or breaking. There is no neutral. Every choice either aligns with your mission or pulls you from it. So ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now helping me build the life I say I want? If not, change. Not tomorrow. Now. Because if not now, when? If not you, who? This is your life. No one is coming to enforce your goals. No one is coming to protect your vision. No one is coming to demand that you rise. That's your job. That's your responsibility. That's your privilege. And yes, it's a privilege to push yourself, to demand more of yourself, to expect greatness. Not from the world, but from within. And you don't get there by coasting. You get there by digging in when others check out. You get there by choosing one more set, one more call, one more focused hour. You get there by building momentum brick by brick, even when progress is invisible. Especially when it's invisible. Because invisible progress is still progress. You may not see the results yet, but they're coming. They're forming under the surface. They're accumulating in silence. Like seeds planted in the soil, they don't sprout overnight. But they grow. They build roots. They anchor deep. So when the storm comes, and it will, your foundation holds. But only if you keep watering. Only if you keep trusting the process more than your temporary emotions. This is where most people give up. But you were never meant to be most people. You were never meant to live like everyone else. You were meant to lead yourself through resistance, to rise through exhaustion, to focus through chaos. That's who you are. That's who you've always been. But maybe you forgot. Maybe the world tried to convince you otherwise. Maybe failure whispered lies into your spirit. But it's time to remember. To remember that you've already overcome things you once thought would break you. You've already survived storms that felt impossible. You've already proven that you are stronger than your fear, greater than your doubt, and more resilient than your excuses. And now it's time to go again, to rise again, to build again. And this time, not from inspiration, from intention, from decision, from identity, because you're no longer trying to become. You are being. You are embodying your future self now, not later. Now, with every action, every word, every breath. You walk like the person who has already made it. You speak like the person who no longer waits for confidence. They create it. You move like the person who understands. Progress is not something you wait for. It's something you work for. And that's what you do now. You work. You execute. You build, because that's what builders do. You push, because that's what leaders do. You persist, because that's what warriors do. You show up, because that's what winners do. And no matter how many times life knocks you down, you rise. Every single time. Because this is who you are now. This is your standard. This is your life. Let this be the moment you stop waiting for life to ease up. Let this be the moment you stop negotiating with your own greatness. Because the truth is, if you're waiting for the weight to lift before you move, you'll never move. If you're waiting for people to understand before you rise, you'll never rise. The ones who make it are the ones who stop waiting. They move while it's heavy. They build while it's uncertain. They keep going even when the vision is blurry. And that's not a talent. That's not a gift. That's a mindset, a way of living, a declaration. I will not betray my future just because my present feels hard. This life, it's not about perfection. It's about pressure. It's about who you become under it. Do you break? Or do you rise? Do you fold? Or do you focus? That pressure you feel? That's not a problem. It's preparation. It's sculpting you. It's strengthening you. It's building a version of you that can carry the life you say you want. Everyone wants the glory, but very few are willing to carry the weight that comes with it. The pressure to stay consistent. The pressure to stay disciplined. The pressure to keep your word when no one's watching. But let me tell you something. Pressure is a gift. Pressure reveals who you are. It doesn't create weakness. It exposes it. And when you face it instead of fleeing it, you grow stronger. You grow sharper. You grow more certain. So don't run from pressure. Rise into it. Meet it. Train under it. Let it carve away every excuse, every limitation, every outdated version of yourself that can't handle what's coming next. Because what's coming next is big. It's powerful. And it requires a version of you that does not crumble when things get inconvenient. You must become the kind of person who stays ready, who stays grounded, who doesn't let the noise of the world drown out the voice of their purpose. You've already come too far to turn back now. You've endured too much to settle. Think about everything you've already pushed through. Every night you wanted to quit, but didn't. Every moment you thought it was over and still got up. You didn't come this far to give half your strength. You came this far to finish strong. This is not the time to coast. This is the time to double down, to raise your intensity, to raise your awareness, to raise your execution, because your life is built in these moments, not in the easy ones, but in the ones where everything in you says stop and you go anyway. You move anyway. You decide anyway, because you're no longer being led by emotions. You are being led by purpose, and that changes everything. You no longer operate based on how you feel. You operate based on what you've committed to. You no longer ask, do I feel like it? You ask, what does my future require of me right now? And then you do that. That's alignment. That's integrity. And that is how peace is built. Not from results, but from action that reflects who you said you'd be. You want to feel better? Then move better. Decide better. Let yourself better. Because emotion follows motion. And identity follows consistency. You don't become the person you admire by thinking about it. You become them by living like them, by showing up when it's inconvenient, by doing the hard things without recognition, by executing when no one else would blame you for quitting. That's the price. And it's worth it. Because once you've lived this way long enough, you'll wake up one day and realize you've become undeniable. Not because you shouted the loudest, not because you chased attention, but because you became someone no storm could shake. That's real strength. That's real peace. And it's built through pressure, discipline, and time. So get a time. And while time works, you work. You keep building. You keep rising. Even when the doubt creeps in. Even when the results are slow. Even when the world says, why are you trying so hard? Because you know something they don't. You know that everything worth having lives on the other side of discomfort, and you're willing to go there. You're willing to earn it. You're willing to bleed for a life that aligns with your values. And in a world that wants everything fast, easy, and free, that makes you rare. That makes you powerful. So protect that power. Don't waste it arguing with people who will never understand. Don't waste it trying to convince those who've chosen comfort. You don't need to explain your drive. You don't need to shrink your intensity. You don't need to slow down just because someone else is standing still. You were born to move forward, to keep going, to build momentum until even your small steps create earthquakes. But you must stay locked in. No drifting. No checking out. No half in, half out energy. This is the season to be obsessed with your own growth. This is the season to train like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. You can't build a future with part-time effort. You can't change your life while clinging to the habits of your old one. You must become all in. Mind, body, spirit. You must align every part of you with the life you say you want. And if there's a part of you still resisting, still clinging to comfort, still chasing ease, you confront it. You call out. You say, you don't belong here anymore. Because comfort is the enemy of greatness. Distraction is the assassin of destiny. And fear is a liar dressed as logic. Don't listen to it. Don't follow it. Don't water it. Instead, move anyway. Believe anyway. Act anyway. Because every step you take in courage weakens the grip of fear. And eventually, that voice fades. And in its place, silence, focus, power. And from that place, everything becomes possible. But only if you stay long enough to reach it. Only if you keep showing up. So show up. Show up until showing up becomes who you are. Show up until effort becomes your identity. Show up until no challenge can shake your character. This is the way. This is the work. And this is the life. Not someday. Now. Not when it's easy. Especially when it's hard. Because the you on the other side of this season, they are worth it. This is not the season to be passive. This is the season to lock in. Not for a week. Not for a moment. Until you win. Until you rise. Until your life reflects everything you've fought for. Until your vision is no longer just an idea, but a reality. And that takes more than energy. It takes endurance. You have to learn how to keep going when the emotion fades, when the noise quiets, when the applause stops. Because that's when most people drift. That's when they slow down. That's when they start negotiating with their standards, start letting the old habits sneak back in. But not you. You're not most people. You've come too far. You've sacrificed too much. You remember why you started. You remember who you used to be. You remember the promises you made in silence. And now you must stay locked in. On your vision. On your path. On your mission. The world will try to steal your focus. It will come in subtle ways. A conversation here. A notification there. A voice telling you it's okay to take your foot off the gas. But you know better. You know how momentum works. You know how easy it is to lose ground. You fight for every inch because every inch matters. You guard your time. You protect your energy. You say no without guilt. You choose growth over approval. And when your vision gets blurry, you remind yourself that clarity is earned through commitment. You don't get clarity by sitting still. You don't get it by overthinking. You get it by taking the next step, even when the path is foggy. That's what vision is. It's not always seeing every step ahead. It's believing so deeply in the destination that you move anyway. And with every step, it becomes clearer. And with every step, you gain strength. And with every step, you separate yourself from the crowd. Because most people lose their vision the moment resistance shows up. They let struggle distort the picture. They let failure redefine their identity. They let fear become their compass. But you've trained differently. You've learned how to stand firm in the storm. You've learned how to trust your work when results are silent. You've learned how to stay hungry when there's nothing to eat but faith. And that hunger, that's your advantage. That's what keeps you building while others rest. That's what keeps you rising while others break. That's what makes you unstoppable. Because this isn't just about achieving goals. This is about who you become in pursuit of them. This is about the mindset you develop, the discipline you master, the self-respect you build. You stop needing validation from others because you validate yourself through effort. You stop explaining your vision because you're too focused on executing it. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces you've already outgrown because you're too busy expanding. This is your time, not next year. Not when things are perfect. Now, you don't get to waste another week waiting for permission. You don't get to stall just because it's uncomfortable. You don't get to hit pause just because no one else sees it yet. You see it, and that's enough. That's always been enough. You're not chasing dreams anymore. You're catching them. You're building them. One move at a time. One decision at a time. One day at a time. And yes, you'll get tired. Yes, you'll have setbacks. Yes, you'll question everything at times. But you keep moving. Because that's what leaders do. That's what winners do. That's what visionaries do. You don't stop when it hurts. You stop when it's done. You don't quit because it's hard. You adapt. You evolve. You rise higher. Because your vision doesn't change. Your strategy does. Your standards stay high, even when your energy is low. Your mission remains, no matter how many times you fall. And when you do fall, you rise faster. You rise stronger. You rise wiser. Because now you know, setbacks are not signs to stop. They are signals to grow. Every failure holds a lesson. Every rejection builds resilience. Every delay strengthens your patience. This is not the end of your story. This is the part where it gets real. This is the part they'll quote one day. This is the chapter they'll study. Because you didn't fold. You didn't flinch. You didn't fade. You locked in. And you stayed locked in. While others watched, you worked. While others waited, you prepared. While others doubted, you delivered. And you'll keep delivering. Not just because you want to win, because you've decided that's who you are now. A winner, a builder, a force, someone who doesn't get distracted by noise, someone who doesn't need handouts or shortcuts, someone who owns their time, their choices, their life. Stay locked in, not for attention, not for applause, for the freedom that comes from knowing you gave your absolute best. And that is the only way to win, not by coasting, not by comparing, but by committing until you've built something worth calling a legacy, until you become the person who no longer breaks under pressure, but thrives in it, until the world sees what you've known all along, that your vision wasn't a fantasy. It was a forecast, and you were right. Now finish it, and don't blink. Not until it's done. This is it, the final step, the last breath of hesitation, the line you draw between who you were and who you've decided to become. No more almost. No more halfway. No more someday. This is where it ends. You're waiting, you're doubting, your delay. And this is where it begins, your becoming, your rise, your legacy. Because there is no greater tragedy than a life unlived. No heavier pain than potential untouched. You were not born to settle. You were not made for mediocrity. You were created to leave a mark. And to do that, you must move with finality, with conviction, like there's no backup plan. Because for those who truly change their lives, there never is. There's only the path forward. There's only the next rep, the next decision, the next disciplined moment that carries you into the life you've been building. This is the mindset. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. You don't wait for clarity. You act your way into it. You don't shrink when the pressure builds. You expand. You rise. You get louder in your effort, sharper in your focus, stronger in your purpose. You understand now, nobody owes you anything. You're not entitled to success. You're not guaranteed growth. You're only guaranteed the opportunity to earn it. And every single day, you get to choose, take it, or let it slip away. You want a different life? Build different habits. You want to break cycles? Keep your promises to yourself. You want peace? Protect your mind like it's your last resource. Because it is. And if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. This is the final reminder. The time is now. Not later. Not when you feel better. Not when the pain passes. Now. Because the more you delay, the more you train yourself that it's okay to break your own word. The more you stall, the louder the lies in your head get. And they will try to convince you that you need rest, that you need a break, that maybe this just isn't for you. Silence them. Replace every lie with a truth. You are strong. You are ready. You are capable. You are chosen. Not chosen by them. Chosen by yourself. You chose this path. You committed to this journey. And that commitment has power. Power no one can take from you. Because the real battle has never been out there. It's always been in here, in your mind, in your spirit, in your daily discipline. This journey was never about the world believing in you. It was about you believing in you when nobody else did, when nobody else clapped, when nobody else understood why you kept going. But you did. And that's what matters. That's what greatness is made of. And now it's time to turn the final page. From building to becoming. From potential to power. From excuses to evidence. And you will have evidence. Not because you're lucky, but because you showed up. You stayed late. You rose early. You sacrificed. You gave. You trusted. You pushed when no one was watching and kept pushing when no one believed. Now watch. Watch what happens when someone decides to no longer negotiate with their dream. Watch what happens when someone says, I don't need permission. I am the permission. Watch what happens when discipline becomes identity. When pain becomes fuel. When excuses are no longer part of the vocabulary. Everything changes. Not all at once, but undeniably, permanently, irreversibly. You are no longer a prisoner of your past. You are the architect of your future. And from this moment forward, you walk like it. You speak like it. You build like it. There are no more breaks. There is only rhythm. The rhythm of action. The rhythm of progress. The rhythm of becoming. And if the path ahead looks long, good. That means you're building something worth walking. Let the journey humble you. Let the discipline sharpen you. Let the struggle elevate you. And let your consistency write a story that no one can deny. This is your time to reclaim, to redefine, to rise. The pain won't last, but the person you become from enduring it will. The setbacks won't stay, but the wisdom you gain from overcoming them will. The doubters will fade, but the evidence you build will remain. So finish it, not just with action, but with fire, with purpose, with that same reason that made you begin. Because the ones who win aren't the ones who start strong. They're the ones who finish, no matter what. You're that person now. You are a finisher. You are a builder. You are a fighter. You are unshakable. Now rise. Not for applause. Not for approval. For the future you swore you would create. For the younger version of you who once dreamed big but didn't know how. For the older version of you who will look back and say, I'm proud. For every day you nearly gave up and chose to go one more round. You did not come this far to fall short. You came to break the cycle, to rewrite your story, to become the proof. So become it. Fully, finally, and never look back. This is your moment. Own it.